Hola familia! Welcome back to All Stuff and Games. Today we are playing Dinkum. Dinkum, if you haven't heard of it, is a life simulation game that takes place in the wild Australian outback. If I had to compare it to any games you may already know, it's kind of like Stardew meets Minecraft meets Animal Crossing New Horizon. I know, not confusing at all, but it's something I've been wanting to play on this channel for quite a while. So I figured, why not start a series that's dedicated to it? There's an update coming sometime in March, and I literally cannot wait. James Bendon, he's the developer. He hasn't given up the goods yet on the exact date, but he's also a one-man show, so completely understandable. But with this Let's Play, it's not necessarily going to be traditional. It's going to be a condensed version of what I do week by week. And at the end of it, I'll give like a wrap up of what I learned, what I thought, any tips I would have done throughout the gameplay, all that stuff. So you definitely want to make sure that you stay to the end so you can hear the wrap up and any tips. And I'll give tips throughout. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Right now, per usual, I am taking entirely too much time to customize my character. It literally should not take this long because there's but so many options. But hey, it's what I do. You give me options. Now I have a reason to be indecisive. But seriously though, this part always takes me entirely too long. So for my name, obviously Steph. Island name, Mystic Falls. If you know the reference, leave it below in the comments. And let me know, what team are you on? If you know the reference, you know what team I'm talking about. A long time ago, everything went south. Almost everybody was forced to move to South City. The people of South City lived cold and miserable lives. You were born here. Nice. Most people have no desire to leave, but you do more than anything. And you might have found a way out. We see a help wanted sign by Fletch, looking for a young go-getter. What's going on, Fletch? You leave for Mystic Falls today. Ooh. I'm annoying. I know. I know this. But honestly, this literally looked miserable. This looks like a miserable town, and it's covered in snow. No, thank you. No, thank you. We are now flying over Mystic Falls, and we'll be landing shortly. Let's go, let's go. Ooh, that little pond is pretty. All passengers, please prepare to leave the airship. How cool is that? We're on the airship. Looks like we've landed. I'll tell you what, I'm so glad you decided to occupy me on this adventure, Steph. I was starting to think no one in South City was brave enough to join me. When you were the first and only person to respond to my ad, I knew you were the right person for the job. Oh dear, look at old Waffle. Blah, blah, blah. See you outside, okay? And outside we shall go. So we are day 1, and I land with meat in my hands. Thanks, doggy. So that's a great start. So one thing I do remember from starting off is Fletch is going to give you a plot so that you can set down the base tent. The base tent is basically the equivalent of like a resident services in ACNH, essentially. So you get to plop it wherever you want to put it. And from what I remember with playing this the last time, is time, if you look at the top left-hand corner, stays at 10 a.m. until you put the plot down, then time will start to pick up. So one thing that I started doing before I decided to actually set down my plot is, number 1, scout the area, figure out where I want to put my base, which this pond looks really pretty. So it's definitely an option. But you want to start gathering stuff prior to putting down your plot, because then it's like you're frozen in time and you get to get all your things before you actually have to put down your plot. So that's one thing I will suggest, is to forage as much as possible before you actually put down your base plot. So what I spent the majority of the next few minutes doing was scout in different areas, seeing if there was someplace better that I wanted to put the base tent, and then just overall trying to forage as many things as possible. So I foraged some logs, I foraged fruit, all the good stuff that I can find that didn't require any tools, because as right now I don't have any tools. So anything that didn't require any tools is what I spent majority of this time doing before I actually placed down my plot. Another thing is, on this save, I had mods. I did not use any of the mods on this save because I wanted to be as vanilla as possible. The only thing I did take advantage of is the auto pickup, and that's just because it makes my life easier. But that's genuinely the only thing that I really used. Everything else, as far as a lot of the cheats where you can just get the stuff that you need, I want to organically find everything in this save and not use any cheats, because, you know, what's a game without a few challenges? You know what I mean? So just wanted to point that out. So if you see things are just automatically getting picked up into my pocket, it's because that is the only mod that I'm actually allowing myself to use. So yeah, I'm just floating around trying to find what is going to be the best spot for the base. So once the plot was placed, Fletch comes back to you, very appreciative of you placing down the plot. She also then passes you a tent for your own house. And the hunt for where I'm putting my house begins yet again. So one thing that I do absolutely love about Dinkum is the map, and how you're able to put these glowy points on the map in order to find a location maybe you visited before. So I had starred a potential location for my house, and I was able to put the glowy point. So now I could go back to it and find it on my map easier. So that's one of the things that's like a really great quality of life aspect that is honestly top tier, especially because this map is so massive. I feel like it's definitely easy to get lost. So I decided to place my tent right next to this lake that opened up into the river, because look at the view. It was giving views, and that's what I wanted. So I'm not as close to my base as maybe some would recommend I should be, but I mean, it's cute over here, okay? It's cute, and I wanted to put it here. So this is where we're at. This is what the house looks like on the inside. I have a tent, nothing in it. So we're gonna head back over to Fletch and see what tasks she has for us next. So we go back to Fletch, and she basically just brags about all the spark that I have and how she can see how I'm gonna contribute to society, or something like that, something along those lines. Then she goes on to talk about the traveling trader John, who apparently is like this legend, and he wants to come and visit the island with his shop. So she's going to give me yet another tent, or technically a visiting site deed, so that I can place that down. It's basically a plot that we're gonna place down, so when visitors want to come over to Mystic Falls, they can hang out, get the lay of the land and whatnot. So now I have to go yet again and throw down another plot. And maybe me putting this plot down right into the water wasn't the best idea, because I literally stepped out of the tent and ran right into the water. So we're gonna have to fix that eventually, but I love where the base tent is, so not complaining. So now I'm gonna put down the visiting site deed and get that all sorted for our girl Fletch. So on this next part of the journey, Fletch gives me her father's adventurous journal, and this is a pretty cool aspect of the game as well. The adventurous journal tracks so many different things. So in the journal, you're able to see what tasks you receive, where you'll get like what would be the equivalent of Nook miles if you've played Animal Crossing. And these miles, or quote unquote permit points that you receive, allow you to get certain licenses and things like that. So foraging fruit, hunting animals, unfortunately, things of that nature, catching bugs. As you progress, the more you catch, the more permit points you get, the more permit points you get, the more licenses you can get, yada, yada, yada. So when you open the journal, this is what it looks like. It has all your milestones, tasks, a pedia, which will show you all the animals and things that you've caught, your details, photos, which later on down the line, you're able to take pictures, and then the options tab. it's pretty cool, pretty cool. So right now I'm just gonna claim all the permit points that I've gained so far simply from just foraging and walking. Like literally you get points for walking around your island. So that's why I said in the beginning to make sure that you forage as much as you can, because at this point I'm up to 660 permit points just from doing the regular basic stuff. Not to mention, because one of the first quests is gathering food for yourself, you kind of already did that part. So this was an easy quest to finish from Fletch because I already had food on me. So kudos to us. We thought ahead. So Fletch also gives us a recipe for a campfire is so you can obviously cook some food, especially because meat, fruit, things of that nature, they give you more energy, more hearts, more everything when it's cooked as opposed to eating it raw. So I took that campfire, skedaddled on over to my house to put it closer to my house. Once I came back, Fletch decided she wanted to give me a sleeping bag so I don't have to sleep on the floor, which, I mean, we're still on the floor, but at least it's in a bag, you know, some levels of comfort. See, Fletch trying to hook us up a little bit, just a little bit. She's giving me real Tom Nook kind of energy, but like, she's cool. You know what I mean? Now, she would be even cooler if she can throw a girl some shoes, because I'm out here like a barefoot bandit in these streets, but you know, hopefully that'll get rectified soon. That would be great. And in addition to our sleeping bag, she also gave us a net so we can go out here and catch these bugs. So that's kind of how I spent the rest of day one. It's just going ahead, collecting some bugs, because at this point, we're very low on coins. The more we catch bugs, the more we can get some more permit points and whatnot, so we can open that aspect up. And that was a wrap on the day one with the Barefoot Bandit. I did also take some time to cook up some of the meat that I had and some of the fruits and things of that nature that I had available just to kind of prep me for the next day, because I feel like the Barefoot Bandit is going to be out for an adventure tomorrow. So had to make sure we were stocked up on all the goods, aka the foods. One thing that was pretty cool with year one, or day one, I should say, is because of all the foraging and the bug catching and whatnot that we spent on day one, we leveled up like crazy, which is really good because you want to level up, because the more you level up, the more variety in the licenses that you get. So this was good. This was a very successful day one. So now we're on day two. As I'm making my way downtown, walking fast, catching bugs, I notice that we have a visitor, and it is John. It is this John character that Fletch was telling us about. So immediately I'm like, let's be friends. So I start off by asking if there's anything he needs, because, you know, Fletch is trying to get us to get him to move on in. So we got to cozy on up to Mr. John and get him to move on in. So he wanted a butterfly. Guess who had a butterfly? This guy. Guess what he gave us in return? These bomb glasses. Wait till you see this. I also did take advantage of selling any access of anything that I had so we can get these coins up too, because we're a little bit in our brokey girl era, so we need to get up out of this. So I sold him everything and kept one of each of the critters, because there's something that happens later where it's pretty good if I keep one of each now. So that's what I did. So we got our coins up. I then go over to see our girl Fletch. She basically tells me that I can sell anything to John. She ain't even know. We just, you know, had John drop like 13 G's on us. So she ain't even know. But it's okay. It's okay. And then she also explains the permit points and how they help you to get the licenses. And then with the licenses, it gives you access to doing things such as mining, logging, fishing, all the good stuff. So while I was here, I did make sure to get my licenses. I got the excavation license, which allows me to purchase and use shovels. I got the mining license, which allows you to use pickaxe and break rocks. I also got the logging license so I can use the axe to chop down trees. And the last license that I got was the hunting license, so that I'm allowed to craft basic weapons to defend myself. Because remember that little teddy bear that I told you shoots fire? A girl needs to be able to protect herself out here in these streets, you know what I mean? In the hard streets of Mystic Falls. So once I got all my licenses, I headed back over to Mr. John's place so that I could, load up on the tools. She could finally get her some tools. And that is exactly what I did. Got myself a shovel, fishing rod, pickaxe, regular axe. Had to get it all. You know what I mean? Cleaned out the house. And in addition to cleaning out said house, Mr. John said he is ready to move on in. Move on in. So we got to go to Miss Fletch so we can get the deeds and get Mr. John all up in Mystic Falls. Also, now that I have my shovel, I can go ahead and fix this little area in front of the base tent so I don't keep splashing into the water every time that I step out. Let's get it together, Stephanie. I also took a minute and decided, you know what? It's a little sunny out here. Let me show you these glasses. She is a look. She's still a barefoot bandit, but listen, John hooked us up with these really cute glasses. We're barefoot, but we cute. I then took the rest of the day to do a task for Fletch, where once I gathered all the items, I was finally able to make a furnace. With the crude furnace, I can now take any ores that I find and turn them into bars. I also did a task for Fletch so we can build up that relationship, and she gave me some really cute round glasses. They still don't trump the triangle shades, but they're cute for what they are. So that was pretty much the rest of my night. I caught a few bugs and kind of wrapped it up for the night. And that was the end of day 2. Day 3, I'll wake back up again, making my way downtown to the tent, catching bugs. It's a norm at this point. So that's what I started out doing for day 3. So in addition to catching my bugs, I made my way to John, sold any of the extra ones that I had, because again, we got to keep the coin up. Headed over to Fletch so that I can get the shop deed and give Mr. John a permanent residence over in Mystic Falls. I put that plot down. Then once that plot was down, it was time to gather materials that was needed to actually build Mr. John's shop. I mean, I love this game. It really keeps you busy. There's always something to do. You do one thing and it just feeds into the other thing and feeds into the other thing, and I'm truly living for it. Although with now placing down this deed, we're kind of putting the town in debt, but it's fine. It's fine. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine. I finally was able to make a wooden crate so I can store all my stuff, because at this point, how I survived without a wooden chest, couldn't even tell you. It was a little bit of a struggle. So that was mainly what I did on my day 3. And in between doing all these different tasks on day 3, I did keep in mind of all of the permit tasks for the day, just to make sure that I'm trying to collect as much permit points as possible. So in between that, I cooked some food, planted some bushes, things like that, just so we can get all of the permit points, because we're really going to need them for all of the licenses that we have to get, because that's when things really get interesting. I submitted the items that I could gather in for John's shop, made my way back to the house, organized my inventory a bit, and that was a wrap on day 3. I then wake up on day 4, cool as a cucumber in my triangle shades. I'm still a barefoot bandit, but it's fine. I start making the planks and continuing to gather the materials that we need for John's shop. And as per usual, I'm gonna make it my way downtown to the town. This time I'm not actually catching bugs. You guys are gonna be so annoyed with me by the end of this video. So that's what I did for the majority of the first part of the 4th day, is just trying to get John to be a permanent resident. You know what I mean? We gotta gather materials. We got things to do. Busy, busy, busy. Also on day 4, I decided to finally craft my own crafting table, so I don't always have to make my way downtown in order to use the crafting table over in the base tent. I also finally got the metal detecting license, which helps you to find raw materials in the ground and recyclable materials that you can actually use for creating other devices and crafting things later on. For example, for John's shop, I needed to make 10 sheets. So although you can use the 10 bars to create the 10 sheets, you can also find the 10 sheets so you're not using precious iron ore and iron bars for stuff that you can find. So that was my idea behind getting the metal detecting license. I still wasn't able to buy the metal detector yet. She was just trying to be ahead of the curve, you know? She was trying to be ahead of the curve. I also got my farming license, which gave me a whole bunch of farming-esque recipes like a scythe, scarecrow, things of that nature. She's just preparing. She has no crops. She has no farm, but it's coming. So I was just prepping, knocking out these licenses as quickly as I can. This is not a speed run, but you know, if you got the permit points, you gotta use it. I also got the building license so that I can build some bridges because I'm tired of swimming to get to where I need to get to. That gave me a ton of bridge recipes that I can use so I can craft, not recipes. See, I'm used to Animal Crossing. Blueprints so that I can craft and do all the things. And obviously I'm still catching my bugs and doing all that. There's just always so much to do at one time. Then something else happened on day 4. I think Mr. John is flirting a little bit. You know what I mean? Let me show you how it went. He asked me how it was going. I gave him a gift because he asked for a butterfly. I gave him his butterfly, and he called me a beauty and how I always pull through for him. And then he had these dreamy eyes, you know? And then he gave me a cheesemaker. A cheesemaker. That sounds like, is that not like a act of, like, have you guys ever read that book, The 5 Love Languages? Like, what if his love language is giving gifts, you know? Because I give him a gift and he's always giving me something back. And it's good stuff. What if that's his love language? I don't know. But that wrapped up my day 4. And we moved and skedaddled on to day 5, aka 5. Now day 5, we made our way downtown, back to John, so we can sell all these bugs. Then we started to fish, because so far we have not fished. And we need some coins. So I decided, let's try this fishing thing. And let's just say she's not a pro. She could use some more. The fish, they don't like me. The fish, they didn't want whatever I was offering. I don't know what I had on the end of this rod, but they didn't like it. They didn't want to stay on. So we will try fishing on another day. The fishing mechanic on this game is very reminiscent to Core Island, where the concept is when they fighting, you let them fight. The minute they relax for a second, you pull it in. But for some reason, it was not working. Not on this day. Wasn't happening. So since fishing, I failed over and over and over and over again, I decided let's do some tasks. So there was a task pending for John. So I decided to go and gather some ore so we can make some 10 bars. I also crafted another furnace so I can do more than 1 bar at a time and make myself a little more efficient. I reorganized some things near the house. You know, she's trying to be organized out here. I also crafted a cooking table that honestly made me so happy I could shed a tear, because you lose energy so quickly, especially early game. And with the cooking table, you can create all these different recipes with different buffs. And although I can't make basically like half of them, the ones that I could make, it made me so happy. It made me so very happy. Fruit salads is going to be my thing to give me the energy that I need to continue to get through the day. So that was, I think, a solid choice on my end, was making this cooking table. So I didn't have to put everything on the campfire. So this was good. This was good. I was happy about this. So after playing around with the cooking table for a little bit, it happened again. John flirted with me. Again, calling me a beauty. I don't even remember what I gave him. I think it was the 10 bars, but yet again, he gave me cool stuff. I'm telling you guys, I think John has a thing. He has a thing. I had to go inside just so I can try these glasses on right away. And hello? Why are they so cute? Why are they so cute? Again, she's still barefoot, but you can be barefoot and stylish. Can you not? One thing you want to make sure that you're also doing is talking to the villagers, because they give you like little tips. So apparently if you dive, you can find pearls, and that was like a little tidbit of information that Fletch just decided to, you know, drop in her little conversation, which I think is so super cool. So it's like, even though it can be a little confusing in games like this, and it can seem overwhelming because you don't really know what to do, one thing I do appreciate about this game so far is that as long as you follow through the tasks, you kind of get through the story in a way, and you kind of start learning what to do. And after that, it was really a wrap on day 5. So day 6, it was raining and thunderstorming, and I needed to get these bugs out of my pockets because I was still saving them for that thing that I told you will end up happening, where I'll need to keep one of each. So I decided to just kind of lay them out around my house, and that will be my future self's problem, because I just really needed to get these bugs out of my pocket. I also went back downtown to meet my boo John and finally purchased the metal detector so I can actually use it. Didn't end up using it on this day, but you know, at least we have it. I tried doing my part and donating towards the town debt because we still need to pay off John's store. And then I found this egg rock looking thing. It was literally emitting lightning from it. And what did I think a good idea was? To hit it with an axe or a pickaxe. Why did I think it was a good idea to hit a rock with sparks with an axe? But I did it, and I kept doing it until my tool finally broke. So then I had to go all the way back downtown to John so that I can buy another pickaxe. But at least I thought twice about bringing, you know, the electrified egg, rock egg, inside of John's. Went inside of John's, realized that I already had bought a pickaxe, so I went back outside, remembered that I already had a backup pickaxe, and I broke up in our little lightning rock egg situation, and I got opal. Now, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this opal, but Miss Opal was expensive. She's worth a lot of dinero. And from what I remember, I feel like it's important. So I didn't want to sell it right away. So I just decided to hold on to it. Then after I pickaxed our electrified egg, I saw an alligator coming in to our peaceful little pond. And I decided, hey, you know what? It would be a good idea to antagonize the crocodile. I said alligator, didn't I? Crocodile. I said, let me start trouble with the crocodile. Spoiler alert, I lost against the crocodile. She was done, folks. That was the wrap on day 6, you know? Day 6 came to an end very early, courtesy of our friend, Mr. Croc. And now we're down to day 7. Sunday is the start of the new week or the end of the last week. I don't know, however you want to see it, but it's day 7, so I'm counting it as the end of the week. And again, per usual, I made my way downtown to pick up my spear because it clearly did not help me, or I didn't utilize it right. I did something wrong. And we had a new visitor, a Mr. Theodore. Now, Theodore looks like he is the museum guru. He is the museum guy. So that is what I've been saving all these buggies for. It's for the museum, so I can donate. I am a completionist, and I like to complete things. Have I ever finished an island? Have I finished decorating my valley? We're not going to talk about that, but I do like to donate things. I don't know why. So now we gotta love up on Theodore so we can get him to move on in. Again, we have to go back to Miss Fletch. She shut that whole idea down. She said, ma'am, we are in debt. We cannot afford to bring anybody else into the town. So I decided I had to spend now this 7th day grinding it out to sell as much as I can. So I made it back to home, went through the inventory, tried to find the things that we can sell. I'm still not trying to sell the opal, even though I know it's a lot of money, because number 1, that would just be way too easy. Number 2, I still feel like it's important for something. So I decided, let me just sell all this extra stuff. I'll find it again. I have my metal detector. Let's just sell everything that we can to try to get enough money so we could get this town out of debt and get our museum guru on in. One of my tasks for the day, in order to get some permit points, was to hunt, which, you know, I prefer not to if I don't have to. And then it happened. I saw him in the distance. It was time for me and Mr. Croc to go for round 2. And this time I was ready. Okay, I was ready. I bobbed and I weaved. I threw my axe again, or my spear again, but I got it back. And I bobbed and I weaved. And I threw it again, because apparently I don't like to keep it in my hands. But she was successful. He tried to leave. He tried to escape. And I said, no, 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 no. You gots to go. All I know, this is not even the one who took me out. But since you did, since either you or your cousin took me out, now you gots to go. And yeah, she was victorious. She won. She was out here winning. So I continued to sell things so we can continue to get some money. And since I was feeling super confident after my one-on-one with Mr. Croc, I said, let's try this fishing thing again, because something tells me it might be a little lucrative. And what do you know? She was successful. She finally caught herself a fish. She caught one, then another, then another. And then she seen another Mr. Croc and she said, you know what? I'm gonna head out. Let's go sell some fish and see what this is looking like. Still didn't get enough. So I decided to just sell 1 opal, just so we can finally get the town out of debt and potentially get Mr. Theodore into town. By the time I did all of that, it was too late to actually try and get him in. So instead, I did a task for Fletch so we can continue trying to grow that friendship. She was very grateful. And guess who is no longer a barefoot bandit? You guessed it. This guy. She finally gave me some shoes. She got some shoes out here. Now, I mean, are they the most stylish? No. They kind of look like plastic Tims, to be honest. But listen, she's not barefoot anymore, okay? She's moving on up. She got new glasses. She got shoes. She can't be held back. She's feeling confident again. She said, you will not get Fletch. So I had to take down another Mr. Croc. I keep throwing my spear for some reason. Not sure what button I'm pressing that keeps having that happen. But she was victorious yet again against Mr. Croc. And because she was victorious, she decided to try fishing again. But for some reason, fishing in this pond doesn't work for me. So maybe I need to up my fishing skills. I don't know, but these pond fish don't like me. River fish love me. Pond fish, not so much. So we're going to work on it. We're going to work on it. It's fine. We'll get better. We shall get better. We finished out our 7th day by doing a task for Theodore. He basically said, 6 feet, ma'am. He didn't even want to shake my hand in thanks, but he did give us a little gift, which was some straight up coins. So we can make it a business transaction. I'm fine with that. And that really was the wrap for day 7. And that was my first week of Dinkum. So I hope you all thoroughly enjoyed this Let's Play / like highlight reel of my first week of playing Dinkum. Not necessarily my first time, but the first week in this series nonetheless. So what do we learn? She's horrible at fishing. Crocs are the enemy. Mr. John, there might be something there. Maybe, maybe not. That's what we've learned. But in all seriousness, you really want to make sure that you're building up your permit points. Another thing that I learned, my editing self learned, is that inside the base tent, there is a storage that I could have used while I was grinding out trying to get enough materials for a wooden crate. So I could have used that to hold some of my stuff, but I didn't know about it until after the fact. So I would definitely say to make sure when you go into the base tent, on the other side of where the sleeping bags are, there is a little storage that you can use in the meantime until you're able to build your own storage. I highly, highly recommend also creating and crafting your own crafting table and the cooking table, because it's going to help you with cooking and also being able to craft when you need to, not always having to make your way downtown to the base tent to use all of Fletcher's stuff. But if you enjoyed this Let's Play and would love for me to continue with the series, please be sure to like the video. It lets me know and YouTube know that you enjoyed the content. Also, because this is a new game, every like is extremely appreciated. And if you're new, why not subscribe? Enjoy and join the familia. I mean, you can enjoy the content, but also join the familia. We are fun over here. If you would like to come and chit chat with us in Discord, everybody is extremely friendly. So definitely be sure to like and subscribe. And I think that pretty much sums it up. So as usual, I will see all you lovely people later.